Retirement used to sound simple. You worked for 40 years, you saved consistently, you paid off the house, you stopped working at 65. That was the story. But in 2026, that story feels outdated. Because everything costs more, people live longer, markets move faster, healthcare is unpredictable. So the real question isn't just when can I retire? It's this: how much do you actually need to retire comfortably now? Not extravagantly, not yacht and private jet retirement, just stable, calm, secure. Let's talk about it. First, we need to define comfortably. For most people, comfortable means you can cover your bills, you're not constantly worried about running out of money, you can handle healthcare costs, you can travel occasionally, you're not working because you have to. That's the goal. Now let's talk numbers. For decades, people threw around the $1 million number. It sounded big, it sounded safe, it sounded like enough. But in 2026, it depends. Here's why. Inflation over the past few years permanently shifted the baseline. Groceries are higher, housing is higher, insurance is higher, medical costs are higher, and once prices go up, they don't politely reset. So the retirement number that felt comfortable 10 years ago doesn't stretch the same way now. There's a common rule people use called the 4% rule. The idea is simple. If you withdraw 4% of your retirement savings per year, your money could potentially last around 30 years. So if you have $1 million saved, 4% gives you $40,000 per year. That's before taxes. Add Social Security on top of that, and maybe you're closer to $60,000 or $70,000 total annual income. For some people, that works. For others, it doesn't even come close. Because retirement isn't one number, it's a lifestyle cost. Let's break it down more realistically. If you want $70,000 a year in retirement income, and you expect Social Security to provide, say, $25,000 of that, you still need $45,000 from your savings. Using the 4% rule, that means you'd need around $1.1 million saved. If you want $90,000 a year total, now you're closer to $1.6 million. And that's assuming the rule holds up. Some financial experts argue that in today's environment, a 3.5% withdrawal rate might be safer. Now the number gets even bigger. This is where people start feeling overwhelmed. Because when you hear $1.5 million or $2 million, it sounds impossible. But here's something important. Retirement spending isn't the same as working life spending. You might not have a mortgage. You might not be saving aggressively anymore. You might not be commuting daily. But you may spend more on healthcare, more on travel, more on hobbies. Comfort depends on your version of life. Location matters too. Retiring in a high-cost city is very different from retiring in a smaller town. Housing alone can change your retirement number dramatically. Healthcare is another wild card. Even with Medicare, retirees in 2026 can expect to spend thousands per year on premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs, and that's without major long-term care needs. This is the part that makes people nervous, because you can't predict everything, and retirement planning really is about managing uncertainty. Now let's talk about longevity. People are living longer. That's good news, but it also means your money has to last longer. Retiring at 65 and living to 90 means funding 25 years of expenses. Retiring at 60? Now you're funding 30 years or more. Time amplifies everything. Small miscalculations grow over decades. But here's something that rarely gets mentioned. You don't have to retire all at once. Many people in 2026 are redefining retirement. Some downshift instead of stop. Part-time work, consulting, flexible income streams. Not because they failed, but because it creates stability and flexibility. A small amount of income in retirement dramatically reduces the pressure on your savings. Even $15,000 to $20,000 a year can shift your required savings by hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the math. Now here's the emotional part. Most people don't fear retirement. They fear running out of money. That's the real anxiety. The idea of being 82 and worrying about bills. That's what keeps people up at night. And in 2026, that fear feels louder because the cost of living feels unpredictable. Markets feel volatile, news cycles amplify uncertainty. So when people ask, how much do I need, they're really asking, how safe will I feel? And safety is partly math. It's also psychology. Quick pause. If you've ever Googled retirement calculators at 11:47 p.m. and immediately regretted it, welcome to adulthood. And if this breakdown is helping you think more clearly about it, subscribe. No hype, just honest money conversations. Now let's go deeper. Retirement isn't just about savings, it's about expenses. The more flexible your expenses, the lower your required number. If you can adjust spending when markets dip, your money lasts longer. If your costs are rigid and high, the pressure increases. There's also sequence of returns risk. That sounds complicated. It just means this. If markets drop heavily in your early retirement years and you're withdrawing money at the same time, it can hurt your portfolio more than expected. That's why having a buffer matters. Cash reserves, diversification, flexibility. Again, not advice, just reality. And here's another factor in 2026, housing wealth. Many retirees are sitting on homes that appreciated significantly over the past decade. That equity changes the equation. Some downsize, some relocate, some tap equity. For others, housing is still a burden. There isn't one retirement number. There are scenarios. Let's make this simple. If your desired retirement lifestyle costs $60,000 a year and Social Security covers $25,000 of that, you need to generate $35,000 annually. At a 4% withdrawal rate, that's roughly $875,000 saved. If you want $80,000 annually and Social Security covers $30,000, now you need $50,000 from savings. That's about $1.25 million. If you want $100,000 annually and Social Security covers $30,000, now you need $70,000. That's around $1.75 million. Notice something. It scales quickly. And that's why retirement numbers feel intimidating. But here's what often gets lost. You don't need to hit some viral internet number to retire comfortably. You need alignment. Alignment between your spending, your expectations, your savings, and your timeline. If you expect a luxury retirement but saved modestly, the math won't work. If your lifestyle is modest and your savings are steady, the number may be smaller than you think. There's also flexibility over time. Most retirees spend more in the early active years, travel, experiences, activities. Then spending often declines in later years, except for healthcare. That one tends to rise. Retirement isn't a flat expense curve, it's a wave. And in 2026, inflation may not be as dramatic as recent years, but the elevated baseline remains. That's what people feel. It's not runaway inflation anymore, it's permanent price resets. So how much do you really need to retire comfortably? Enough to cover your lifestyle, enough to handle healthcare uncertainty, enough to withstand market volatility, enough to sleep at night. For some, that's $800,000. For others, it's $2 million. The difference isn't luck, it's lifestyle, it's expectations, it's geography, it's time. If this made something clearer for you, subscribe. Not because retirement is easy, not because there's a magic number, but because clarity reduces anxiety. And the more you understand the math behind your future, the less intimidating it feels. Retirement isn't about becoming rich, it's about becoming secure. And security isn't loud, it's quiet. It's stable, it's flexible, and it's built slowly. That's what comfort really means now.